I'm sorry. I missed out on giving our friend Nicholas the reading on his very interesting question. Maybe it's kind of helpful in the sense that I'm doing it this way. I can give it a little more attention. He was wanting me to look at Tom Homan and his past life and if it was like connected to Second World War, Nazi officers, that kind of energy. And I think in particular he had one in mind. I think Heinrich, was it Himmler? I can't remember. One of those characters. But what I will do is I'm just going to see what I get, and I'm going to look at Tom Homan's past life with regard if was there any Nazi past. This is all alleged for entertainment purposes only, and to look at what is coming up on his timeline for his future in this life. Uh, so I'm going to ask Spirit what it is we need to know with regard to Tom Homan. I'm picturing him kind of, and whether or not I'm asking for kind of a yes no. Was he uh, a Nazi officer in a past life? And if so, was he important? Should we know about him? What should we know about his past life? Or any past lives that um, really have some significance to now? With Tom Homan. Let me just look at his birthday. Well, Tom has a birthday November 28th, 1961, and that makes him a King of Wands. Fiery fellow. That makes sense. Let's see. What? Okay, actually, was Tom within Hitler's admin in a past life? What do we need to know, no matter what, about any past life that has significance? But especially if he did, please help us to understand. So I'm looking to see if he was a goose stepper. The Ace of Swords, clear. There is clarity. This to me is a yes. This is an absolute clear yes. Rather clear yes. And it's paired with the temperance. So he gets the Ace of Swords and temperance. He needs to curb his enthusiasm for being a fascist. He is supposed to be working on that, trying to become less of an extremist. And that tells me he's going to have a very interesting future because something is coming to balance him out, and it's outside of his wheelhouse. And it does look to me like there is a litigation, or I'm sorry, a litigious aspect to it, like a legal precedent or something coming for him. He's not going to get away, maybe, with what he thought he could. None of these guys, I hope, do, but I'm realistic. I don't know. It remains to be seen. I hope it's not business as usual. I don't tend to think so because if people don't step in, I think circumstances through the universe will, with this guy. There's his extremism is to be balanced. So the answer is also yes. And I think he was um, one of the more elevated officers, probably who Nicholas, the one who asked this question, um, wanted to know about. We get the Queen of Swords. So this, to me, these are women that are in judiciary and dealing with the law, who are, I think, in essence, more powerful than him, as they are, I think, many judges that this energy is, and people like AOC. And AOC has taunted him and said, "Why don't you come for me?" Um, it's this kind of energy that I'm talking about. No nonsense. Pick on someone your own size. We get the Three of Swords. To me, this is this female pushing the truth that he's causing pain, divide, and separation through the deportation stuff he's involved in. Having people be deported. What he's, going after people the way that they are is causing the Three of Swords, is causing division and heartbreak and separation, and divide. This will become, I think, legally, I think at some point with a judge, and maybe a female one, he's going to be having to answer to that. But it doesn't matter. They're already aware of this. Um, I see women who are more powerful, actually, than him and more knowledgeable with that Queen of Swords and Empress, I'm sorry, and Temperance and the Ace of Swords and the Three of Swords coming to help deal with the crisis and the pain that he is causing. And it could be going back to a past where separation from a wife, maybe even, or a female that he may have been with. Was there one that had an affair in particularly? Because that can also be someone that's having an affair. And I'm thinking, and now I'm seeing it more also in the past, as past life as a Nazi officer on his wife. There feels like there was somebody else within that organization he was connected to, and there's some sense of separation from. And it could be like a love triangle. We're getting the Knight of Pentacles. This to me is land and people and details. It's also, and wealth, getting more money, doing this for money again. But it's not just money, it's also to belong to the yuckety yucks, the executive branch club that Trump wants to make for his elites, his swamp. This also feels like I'm getting a side story of him in the past and a love triangle and a celebration dealing with business. It's weird. That's so weird. Now I'm getting the lovers. Okay. So in the past, we're being highlighted with uh, agreements and alliances, as well as intimate relationships. So we've gotten information on a past life for Homan as someone that was a member of the Hitler's party. I don't want to get dinged too much here, but there is something about a relationship and maybe a love triangle in that lifetime, and it was a burden. There was a relationship or relationship issues that were a burden. There may have been a wife he couldn't feel like he could divorce, or I don't know, something like that with whoever he was. So if you can look up if there was any one of them that had issues like that going on, we might be able to say, yeah, this guy is maybe who he was. I don't know. But it looks like there was a big burden to do where a love relationship was concerned and wanting, I think, to be with probably someone other than he was with. Um, we get a King of Swords and the Devil. That's, ugh. He was, I think, connected to it, and I feel like this is him then. And I feel like I'm seeing him in a one of their dark suits. Um, I know it's not the word. Their military attire. What else was coming from that with the devil? I was getting that they were screwed up. He was screwed up in a lot more ways than one. I'm getting issues with addiction, ad- addictions that are oppressive and are all about making less of other people. He'd be the type that would like seeing women getting slapped around or rough, there's a sadistic kind of an element because he's all about the power and money. He wants to be the devil controlling people. And so we're being shown that he was an extremely immoral character, with the devil, evil, causing suffering, separating people again, separating women from children and loved ones. There's an angle on the women. So I wonder if he wasn't in that life abusing women that he was targeting. That wouldn't surprise me. Here we have the emperor. We have power. We also have what would have been Hitler at the time because we're looking and asking, and we got yes, and so I figure it's Germany, and here we have the and like this kind of mania, where the emotions are off the charts and it's blowing over and overflowing from the cup around. To me, it was being part of definitely that mindset, that brainwash set of Hitler. Wow, he definitely was. Okay. So we have the aspect of working in collaboration with small groups of people. And I feel like in the past it was like working to invade more nations with the three. We get the Three of Pentacles and the Three. of Wands. And I feel like whoever he was, he may have been one of them that would have joined him at the war table and you know, like they used to, and that I think they still do, um, laying out the strategy. Uh, and looking at, I feel like I'm seeing him at that kind of a table in an instance. So I feel like that was part of whatever, whoever, I don't know all that history. I just, it's part of my family's hardship, and it can be kind of heartbreaking. So I'm not real sure who that would be offhand myself, but if you have any ideas who this might be, go ahead and write it down in the comments below. Um, it looks like he was a strategist, like a military strategist, helping to direct invasion or something, and also the population, the deporting people, and um, that as well. We do have justice here in that life, and we have the star. I think he may have been someone that went to The Hague or was going to go. He felt disconnected. Homan would have felt disconnected to the scene with the judicial Hague meeting. Doesn't care. Very disconnected, very dispassionate, and indifferent to the suffering of other people. And as I say that, this confirms it. He didn't care. At the end of the day, he didn't care with the Ten of Swords and the Four of Cups. And he didn't care to the end of his life at that time. Page of Cups and the Two of Wands. He was still thinking about himself. Very childish man as well, with the, I feel like the Page of Cups, more interested in having enjoying himself. He probably liked to drink at some point. We're getting the card of cruelty and of enjoying being a bully, of taking away others' freedom and their means of escape, their means to defend themselves. That's coming up with the Five of Swords, and this was his past. And being the bully, the manipulative bully with the magician, and this was something he was really invested in, especially verbally. Um, Bullying people, also tearing people down, um, to make them feel less empowered, so he could feel more empowered as the devil and put the chains of oppression upon them to feel like they were less than him. A real sicko. All right, let me just see what else, and then I want to look at his life now and his future. I get a Queen of Wands and a Death. Um, So we're seeing the death around a significant female here. I almost want to say is this Eva Braun, um, or maybe somebody significant that he was fooling around with or married to. I don't know. I don't think he was someone that was in a happy relationship. There was something very long suffering about it. There's a crossroads when it came to his family, or when it comes to families. His decision I think also about what he's doing now links back to what he was doing then, for sure. Wow. Okay. Okay, then I'm getting the card of having to retreat and being ill, or this could be buried, death. And it feels like, well, we have the chariot, illness, and travel. He may have gotten ill at some point, possibly through travel toward the end of his life. We get judgment, and we get the Knight of Swords. So he was judged and has been judged by the greater populace in that life as cruel and just also fast acting, doing things just without any, again, there was it with indifference and just being vicious. Viciously indifferent are the words I'm getting for him in that past life. All right, let's take a look at him in the now and see what's on Tom Homan's timeline in this life under Trump. What is coming for him, given his involvement, whatever he's been, let Spirit show us what we need also to know here with regard to him now. What is on Tom Homan's timeline in the future? This summer, starting this summer. Or now, just whatever we need to know. What is on Tom Homan's timeline in this lifetime? Well, we get the Hierophant and plans. I feel like he's being guided, he's being taught, trained, and he follows the rhetoric. He drinks the Kool-Aid. He's obedient. He's obedient, very conservative, is part of a goal. He's trying to also, I think, climb his way up within that group. He wants to be, like I said, a big muckety buck. We have the lovers coming back in again. That can be, who he's allied with Trump and people like that. All right. And then we have the moon. There's maybe a hidden relationship or a hidden alliance that he has for someone that's claiming to be so moral and all of that as well, having a moral high ground. There's something clandestine as well, again, connecting to the lovers, possibly an intimate relationship or a friendship. There's something hidden and uncertain. We have confrontation with the Five of Wands. This is physical and verbal confrontation. That's coming. And it brings change with the Wheel of Fortune. Like I've said in earlier videos recently, I think, unfortunately, people are going to be push is going to come to shove. Something's going to give. We have a confrontation ahead of us. And I think people will be putting hands on each other. Um, we have justice. All right, we do have the court system showing up in his timeline. And we do have the Five of Pentacles. I feel like this is trying to hold him account for the deporting of, especially of people that are ill, and are innocent of any crime, and just what they're sending them to, just stripping them of dignity as well. That's look the dignity, the cruelty, the coldness, cold heartedness. So legally, there's the courts, I think, looking at him with regard to his connection to that. And we have the Knight of Wands, the activity, the carrying out of orders, the directing of activity, having other people do stuff. And it's paired with control and being stubborn and also no mercy. What is wrong with these people? Now there's going to be a great burden on him that's coming. Probably because he's one of the the goofs that they will gladly throw under the bus. He gets the Ten of Wands, and with the card of theft or trying to, I think, take people away with the the Seven of Swords and the Ten of Wands. There's he's still carrying the burden from the past acts that he's done that are dark. And he's at an end point with that 10. He's not learned his lesson. He's not become more moderate. Um, this to me is the deporting of people, stripping them of freedom of movement, to leave, to do due process. It also they might actually be definitely are being cuffed, but probably blindfolded as well. And that's paired with the sun. So these crimes and the people that he's sent, it's going to come back on him and be exposed with the sun. These acts of incarcerating people overseas that are not guilty of crimes, that are not criminals, in criminal, desperately dangerous places is inhumane, to say the least. It is insane, uh, but not without being consciously choosing to do this and knowing but just not caring. And again, we've been shown that with him with the Four of Cups. He just does not care. He didn't care in his last life, and he doesn't care now. We had the Three of Pentacles, the little groups that he's working in within the Trump admin, and he's worried. Maybe they are worried. And he's probably worried about groups of people that are working together to come after him for deporting people the way that he's been involved with. We have the Magician and the lies, manipulation, etc., making things look like one way and not being completely honest or forthcoming, and a manipulator. And that Queen of Swords just doesn't want to let him go. I think someone's going to call him on his stuff. He's not going to get away with it. at least not in this lifetime. I feel like there's some legal issues ahead of him. And especially with children, Page of Pentacles, and the homeland, and harmony, and families, and that shouldn't have been moved, and families' lives being disrupted, but especially with the result on children and their families. And she's not kidding around. Ace of Swords, children again, and children in the past. So, Ace of Wands and a Queen of Wands as well. There's women that are gonna come for him, and they're gonna take him down. And they're gonna show that this is all about money. This is all about obtaining independent wealth, being part of the Trump club crowd. And we have the King of Cups. I think he's very emotionally attached to this idea of becoming wealthy, and becoming one of the big boys. But this issue with deportations does not go away. It comes right back up. And putting it to a stop, bringing it to an end, taking it from the rocky moments that we've been going through and getting this sorted out. And we've got to deal with his prideful, smug, uh, he's like, it's standing there, like sticking out his chest. Like, yeah, what are you going to do about it? He really thinks he's untouchable. I think he's going to be in for a rude awakening because Trump may throw him under the bus, and then he's going to see you're not really one of the club. This is to do with losses. I'm sure they can't find some of these people. Um, and we do have a loss where power is concerned around Trump. And certainly the people that are mourning or grieving, their families being separated, they don't know what or where, if they're ever going to hear from some of them again. Um, he's causing a great deal of sorrow, and Homan's just as much a part of it. The extremism again, here comes the universe saying you've overplayed your hand, you've gone too far. You have to now right the balance, and he is going to be in the spotlight. I think he's going to be one of them that does not escape. He's going to be very much in the spotlight for what he did and for needing to be brought to justice. And the judges, the women judges, just don't seem to want to let that go, nor do, I think, women within the Dem party, with all likelihood. And who knows, maybe other ones. I don't think he's probably very well liked. I think he's a little bit of a perv. Um, Again, that's all alleged for entertainment purposes only. We get the death card for him, so there's that ruinous Trump touch coming in just to completely turn his life to crap. And things will end not only how he's brought this to other people, but these people forget when they abuse their power in the way that they are, this comes also back upon themselves. And he has the fool. He's stupid, and it shows he's a big dummy that's taking a big foolish risk. He looks stupid. He looks like a big yes boy, but he's out there thinking he's a tough guy. And this is going to end badly. He's going to have egg on his face. And I think he will be out there without anyone really backing him up terribly much. I think they'll be out to dry. Yeah, look, the devil. This is the deportation issue again, and the chariot. That he's connected to that. He's not going to get away with it. We get the Queen of Cups, and we get the Tower. There's something unexpected with a woman, maybe one of the people that he's deported, or somebody that's helping one of them, um, we get them standing up. I think they're going to come for him. Maybe they're going to try and sue him. Yeah, there's something that's not been fully revealed there, but I think they could end up deciding to come for him legally and try to hold him to account. We get the King of Pentacles, and we get the Seven of Wands. There's a male as well. So there's two that I think he's going to be juggling, maybe two lawsuits by people that he's sent. And there's a lot of money involved and a lot of people with a lot of money. And that's the truth because it's Trump and it's El Salvador and Bukele and any other place that they go and send the people off to and deport them out to. Also, places here that are for profit, it's all for money. And it's going to come back on them. So we see Tom's going to have a ruined life. Eight of Wands, things will pick up, especially about the children. The Page of Cups that are innocent, that had nothing to do with this. And if he thinks and makes fun of or mocks, that humor is not going to go over very well. People will be angry. The Two of Cups, who he's allied with, and money. He's partnered up and close to them for the money, and he's going to go down. So watch this space. Oh, thumbs up? Thanks. And thanks, Nicholas, for asking such a good question.